Some places teach you about history, others take you straight back to childhood. After losing the ticket lottery once, we finally made it inside Japan's Nintendo Museum. But with much of the museum off limits to cameras and only 10 digital coins each, we had to choose carefully. And what we found inside began long before Mario. Okay, we're back in Kyoto.
Yeah, we made it. We took a bunch of trains to get over to Nintendo Museum. And it is also the 40th anniversary of
Super Mario
Brothers.
Yay.
So yeah, we're going to go check out the Nintendo Museum, and we've heard a lot of good things, and I'm pretty stoked that we actually got tickets in the lottery.
This is the second time I tried the lottery system and we finally got it. Yay. There are areas in Nintendo that you can't film, but they're also like the food area and the gaming area that you can probably film. So we'll show you guys a little bit here and there.
One of our core childhood memories, at least for me, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, was playing video games. And was it for you too?
Yeah, because I grew up with my brothers and they're into video games. Thank you to them, I got to experience this video games.
What was your first console that you remember playing?
For me, it was, that I could remember was Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64?
Or Super Nintendo. Actually it was Super Nintendo first and then Nintendo 64.
Okay. I never had either one of those. But I had the precursors to those, which was like the gray little Nintendo box. And that was it. We had Super Mario Brothers. And so today we are harkening back to those childhood memories that we absolutely love because we were in Japan and we got to go
to Nintendo Museum.
To the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto.
Yes.
And it was an awesome experience.
Dustin and I grew up with completely different generations of Nintendo. I recognized the consoles I played with my brothers, while he kept finding games from much earlier in his childhood. But what surprised both of us was that Nintendo's story began long before neither of us ever picked up a controller. We learned something interesting about Nintendo is that it actually wasn't playing consoles.
It actually goes way back. It goes back to 1889.
They actually start making playing cards and Hanafuda cards.
And where we went to the Kyoto Museum was actually not a museum. It started as their factory. In 1969, they were making all sorts of really cool toys that we learned all about that were like actual physical toys, not electronic
and
toys.
The playing cards.
And they changed that factory just a few years ago into this incredible museum. And the museum's actually 2 levels, so 2 entirely different parts. One was, I just got chills, it was so much fun, entirely interactive. She was playing Hanafuda cards on this massive room like the size of a half basketball court and running around trying to match the cards electronically. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun because they were all Japanese, but the phone that gave me is that it explained in English. I was just matching what it looks like.
It was so funny. You were just running all around in circles.
Yeah.
And there were tons of other interactive, and of course, our favorite things were Mario Brothers and playing the little video games and stuff like that.
Every visitor gets 10 digital coins, but the activities all cost different amounts, and you cannot buy any more. We started playing before we even had a look around the entire room. By the time we found some of the biggest games, we had already spent more than we should have.
Those 10 coins, and they're like the Mario style coins. They're so cool.
Yeah, just letting you guys know, you can't buy more coins and you can't use all the coins to play every single interactive game.
So make sure you go have a look at everything first and then pick which one you actually want to play.
I was so sad I couldn't play this one because I didn't have enough coins.
Yeah.
But you got to play this one. It was the one with the gun.
Every person I know loved playing Duck Hunt growing up. They had this room that we walked in and it was like the size of like 3 movie theater screens all the way across.
You're like, pew, 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 pew. And then you're playing against all these other people too.
The whole room's full of people with a big row of, and they've all got the toy guns and they're the Duck Hunt guns and you're shooting all the stuff and it was so much fun and I could have played that for hours and I was sad I only got to use it once.
There's this really cool interactive one was the giant controllers. I had to choose the Nintendo 64 because that's my OG kind of that I remember. And I remember that because that was the first one that we introduced my mom and dad to play.
Oh no, I remember a very funny story about my parents and the Nintendo. We got our Nintendo for Christmas from Santa Claus, which at the time I thought...
He's real.
Yeah. Santa Claus apparently stayed up all night long that Christmas night playing the video game before the kids woke up.
But I'm not saying like these tiny controls. I'm saying like a giant one that you need 2 people at least to help you with this.
They're mounted to the floor. They're the size of like a small car. And I've never played N64, so I don't even know how to use the joystick.
So originally you were on the other side with the movement and the joystick. And you didn't know how to do that, so we had to swap during the game. And we chose the easy one, which was collect as much coins as you can, which was still hard because you're moving this giant thing.
And I gotta jump, or you gotta
jump.
Yeah,
I'm like jump. So that was actually one of the best ones, I would say.
So it was a lot of fun playing the games, going around to all the different interactive exhibits. We did play the original consoles as well. A whole room filled with consoles that you could just run around and play at those.
The games were fun, but the most unexpected part was how quickly everything brought back memories. It was not only about Mario or the consoles themselves, it was remembering our siblings, our parents, and the homes where we first played them.
So the top level was the actual museum. It was really well done. We've been to a lot of cool interactive style exhibits, and on travels when you're going to a new country or new city, there's always really cool tours you can go on and museums. I highly recommend putting this one on your list because I never thought you could make a video game museum look amazing,
like fun,
and learn things about it and everything else.
The museum is like pretty much from the start, and then when you look at it, it's like the different years on. You get to see the evolution of it.
Yeah.
But what was so cool was there was this area, and it's like it was with Zelda games they were showing and everything, but they were drawing the original Mario sketches, the original Donkey Kong sketches, like the actual sketches. It's so cool. It was just amazing. Most of the historical exhibition could not be filmed, so this is the part we cannot properly show you. But it was also where the museum stopped feeling like an attraction and started feeling personal. What was special about us visiting this Nintendo as well, it was the 40th anniversary of Super Mario.
I gotta tell you, you don't really start to feel old until you realize that the game you played as a kid is now also 40 years old.
Or sometimes when we were at the museum on the dump, he goes, "Oh, I remember that," and I'm like, "I've never seen that before." So that was like older than me.
She wasn't even born yet on some of it.
But it was really cool because we were up in the museum and it was just like, "Oh, do you remember that game? Oh, you know, this is the Game Boy we got." And like my brother, he was really into Game Boy. It was like, "Oh, that was the Pokemon we got." And we got the first color Game Boy. And then we got like the Pokemon Special, which is a Pikachu yellow Game Boy. So Richard really liked it. So this video is dedicated to you.
That's right.
But also in that museum, there's the gift shop, which is amazing, guys.
So cool.
I mean, I was really, really sad because, you know, it's big controllers. We wanted it, but like we can't fit it in our suitcases.
Can't fit it in our suitcase.
They also had Hanafuda cards, and like they updated it to be like Super Mario versions.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Like literally a lot of limited edition stuff.
Another section as well in the museum is the cafe.
It was good food.
It was alright.
But the experience in ordering the food was awesome. They make you go on with a QR code, which gives you this like online ordering app.
It's like you're playing a game.
Yeah, totally.
we we customize our own burgers. And it's like
putting on your lettuce and tomato and what sauces you want.
So it was pretty cool. Definitely, I would recommend like a half day there.
Yeah, do that, and it's good for the whole family too. So there's a lot of fun playing around. So in order to get to the Nintendo Museum, you kind of got to plan ahead.
You know, this is the second time that you've been to Japan, but the first time I actually, for you, I wanted to do the museum, but the thing is we didn't get selected for the lottery. In order to do that, you just gotta go online and you gotta plan ahead. Like you can't just okay, I'm in Japan. I'm gonna plan to go to Nintendo Museum in 2 days and book tickets. You can't
Doesn't work
do
that.
that. We had to book in like
2 months before, and I understand why they're doing it because they're trying to limit the number of people that can come in, which makes it a better experience for everybody. And this time we used 2 email addresses.
2 emails and chose 2 different dates. So I chose one date, he chose the other date. He didn't get it, sadly.
I didn't get
He
it.
didn't get it, but I got it. Yeah. So
It was a lot of fun that we
Yeah.
were actually able to go this time when we went to Kyoto.
for us, the Nintendo Museum was worth the planning. Not because it felt like a theme park, but because it made Nintendo's history feel surprisingly personal. It will mean the most to people who grew up with these games, and we will absolutely want to return here again. Next time though, we are choosing the games we missed out on or want to try again before spending all our coins. Which Nintendo console takes you straight back to childhood, and which game caused the most arguments over whose turn it was? Let us know in the comments below. And if this video brought back a few memories, or you simply enjoyed traveling with us, please like the video, subscribe to Sunsets and Speakeasies, and we'll see you in the next one.